Hi everyone, Nova here from Brighter Outlook Counselling Service with this week's live stream Narcissistic Abuse Recovery question, answer and support session. Thank you so much for joining me here tonight. It's fantastic to have you back as always. Okay, once again, we are very lucky to have David Demars joining us tonight. So David will be here live from Las Vegas. He will be tuning in very, very shortly. And as soon as I can see him on my screen, I will let David in, and David will be co-hosting the show tonight, and it's always awesome to have him here. So we'll be keeping my eyes out for David. Okay, everyone, as you join, as always, please just comment your questions below, and David and I will answer as many as we possibly can. It's impossible to answer all of your questions, but we do try to get around to answering as many as we can. So people, please talk to each other and support each other, because you see your stories in other people's stories, and you never know what you might say that might be able to help someone else, and I guess vice versa. You might be able to gain support from the experiences of other people who've been narcissistically abused just as you have. Okay, we've got already, I can see Jonathan Kitsos there. Hi, Jonathan. And we've got Bill Williams there, who says, love your work. Oh, well, it's awesome to have you here, Bill. Actually, it's wonderful. I always say this whenever I see men here, but it's really wonderful to have men joining in this forum. We've got Aletha Goodrick is here as usual. Hi, Aletha. And we've got Melissa Hudson here, I can see there. Hi, Melissa. It's really wonderful to have men here, because there's just, I guess, not enough said about the fact that, men are victims of narcissistic abuse too, and they suffer just as incredibly as women do. It's just that we don't hear about it because, I guess all that societal stuff where, men are taught not to talk about their feelings, and, it's looked at to be kind of like a girly thing to do, which is just crazy when it comes to narcissistic abuse. Narcissistic abuse is not gender specific, and the destruction that narcissists put forward is just as incredibly painful and traumatizing to men as it is to women, and we have to keep encouraging men to talk about this stuff. Thank you guys for joining in tonight. It's wonderful to have you here. Okay, we've got Shaz Shaz G Satine there. Hi, Shaz. Says, hi, Nova. You are amazing. You know where I'm from. Thanks for joining us, Shaz. And we've got Denise West here. Hi, Denise. Great to have you back again, all the way from California. It's been a while. And we've got David here. I can see David's going to let David in. And we've got Mark Silverwood here, another guy. So great to have you here, Mark. So I'm just going to let David in. Facebook updates every 2 seconds, and it looks completely different. So I hope I'm doing the right thing. Fingers crossed, David. Who else have we got? So we've got Monica Caravis there. Hi, Veronica. And Mylene Carner. They're from the UK, if I remember correctly, Mylene. Hi, Mylene. And there's David. Hey, David. How are you?
Hello, Venus. I'm good. Sorry, good. How are you?
Hey, you've been talking to.
I just got a message pop up, and it was them. I'm sorry, Nova. How are you? I'm good.
That's good. Okay. It must be getting warmer over there, because it's, as you can see by the long sleeves, it's definitely getting colder here. The Ugg boots are out.
It is getting hotter. Yeah, the heat is here.
Good. Good. I'm glad for you. I wish it was back here again. Okay, David, I've said hello to a few people. Just see if there's anyone I've missed.
I heard what you were talking about. That's good. I'm glad you bring that up.
What's that?
Men being abused. How it's equally as painful as women.
Oh. Yeah. It's just wonderful. Probably half the people here are men. And I was just saying that's just amazing, because we need to, you know, put it out there that men suffer just as badly. And I believe men are abused just as much. I believe it's, you know, around 50-50 mark. It's just that we don't hear about the male victims because of this, you know, thing in society, you know, where men aren't taught to, you know, come forward about the psychological abuse. Yeah.
Yeah, I think men can sometimes find themselves pretty alone.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what we want to change. Absolutely. So yeah, I was just saying it's wonderful to have these guys here. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if we've got Inga. I haven't said hello to you, Inga. Hi, Inga, and we've got Tina Beale there. Hi, Tina. Guys, if you can, I don't know if you're in like any groups that where it's possible. If you can share, we're always David and I are always asking you to share. That's the way, you know, we can help more people to be more knowledgeable about narcissistic abuse, and spread awareness, and also let people know that there is support out there. So if you had that capacity to share while we're live streaming, that would just be fantastic. Yes. David, I'm going to leave it to you to introduce our topic tonight. What are we talking about?
Well, I don't know about a title yet, but I'd like to talk about some of the things victims deal with after narcissistic abuse, and what's just totally imperative to recovery. And that's optimism over pessimism, and also acknowledging, you know, I talk about self-compassion a lot. Just like you're talking about men being abused, it's just victims will not really see what they've gone through. They won't accept their reaction as human. So much guilt and shame attached to trauma. We ask questions like, you know, why didn't I see this earlier? Why didn't I leave earlier? And it really follows us. It can follow us forever. And we've got to start being more optimistic, less pessimistic. Pessimism will make everything come to fruition. It's how you take this experience. It really is. What happened has happened. We have to learn from it. We have to find something positive from it.
Yeah.
Because the negativity will destroy us, and the pessimism will alter our perception of ourselves. It really will. It really will.
Such an incredibly important point to make is that, you know, many people, when they come out of these relationships, they find themselves in that black hole, you know, asking themselves questions, just like you said, you know, how could I have been so stupid? Why didn't I see those red flags? They were, you know, flashing like neon signs in front of me, and I still stuck around, even though I just knew something was off. And the thing is, you know, that's the very nature of narcissistic abuse, is you don't see that you're being, you know, gaslighted and brainwashed and pathologically lied to, because you're being gaslighted and brainwashed and pathologically lied to. You know, those things are preventing you from seeing what's going on. But I guess to look at the optimism like you're talking about, you've got to not discount the fact that you were so resilient in lasting the distance with such an abuser, and the strength that you developed in being able to survive that kind of trauma. And that's the strength you have to turn into, you know, into that, learn from and turn into something that's going to propel you forward.
That's right. And how is a human being supposed to react to abuse? You know, however you react to it is how human beings react to it.
Yeah.
It's not our fault. It's not your fault. If you're abused, you were abused. And you know, and even realizing how bad it was, then all the shame that follows with that.
Yeah.
You know, because we need to realize that we aren't bad people. We were simply treated badly by people. And that will make us feel like a bad person until we totally understand it. Totally, because if someone's treating you badly, it's them, it's not you. It's them. They have a problem. They have a problem. It's not your problem. They've made it your problem. It made it
Yeah.
your problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you aren't a bad person. You were simply treated badly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got to understand, we've got to see the truth in these things. The truth. The truth is that someone is unhappy, miserable, someone's abusive, and they were in your life. And they shouldn't have been. And it's not your fault. And it's not your fault you didn't leave them sooner. It's not your fault that you reacted abusively. It's not your fault. You know, these things, it's so much, but we've got to keep learning, and we've got to be positive. You know, people say, watching narcissistic videos, am I watching too many? Which narcissistic videos are you watching? Is it all negative? Is it all bad? Do you need to keep watching bad, negative videos? Do you need those?
Yeah.
It'll affect your life. You know, right now, you shouldn't be watching horror movies. Right now, you should be watching violence. It makes a big difference. Watching comedy, funny things, lighthearted, loving, nice things. That's what you need. I'm telling you, your life has been bad and negative for too long. This
Yeah.
experience has been too much, too big.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you guys that they've had enough of the victim blaming while they're in the relationship, to take that when they get out of the relationships and then, you know, turn it around on themselves. And essentially, you know, that's what they do, I guess. It's, you know, the narcissist throughout the relationship was always going, it's you, it's you, it's you, you know, the blame shifting, everything's your fault, everything's your fault. And then, you know, we as victims, we absorb that, you know, and we're so vulnerable and so low that
Mm-hmm.
we believe it. But that's where we have to, you know, I guess, take that, what, you know, what we learned from the abuse, and use it to take that first step in our healing. And the very things that enabled you to survive are the things that are going to enable you to heal and move on. Yeah.
Right, right, right. And if all you have in your life is people that don't understand, and you're telling them to, you're not getting any validation, get it somewhere. Hire somebody. You know, friends aren't here to help us that much with our mental health.
Yeah.
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 And if people don't understand, find somebody that does. Seriously.
Yeah.
Because that's the
And
worst
that,
feeling in the world. No one understands. Yeah.
yeah. And it can be from, you know, the most well-intentioned people, you know, family that love us, and, you know,
Sure.
friends can have the best intentions, but, you know, without that validation, and which most people are just not going to get unless they've been through it, or you're speaking to an expert who, you know, really, really, really gets it, and has probably been through it themselves. You know, the best intentioned person can make can damage you further with, you know, comments like, oh, you should be over that by now, you know, really flippant comments like that. And I think I've said this before in one of our episodes, David, when we were talking about, you know, finding the right counsellor, you know, and we kind of agreed with that no counselling is better than some counselling, than, you know, speaking to someone who will not validate, or is not capable of validating the trauma you went through with a personality disordered individual. No counselling is better, because you're going to be re-traumatized,
It could be
re-victimized.
it could be more damaging, just like not getting professional help, and all you have is people not validating your experience. So
Yeah,
it's stressful. If a friend comes to you and you can't help them, it's stressful. It's
yeah,
stressful. You don't know what to do. Period.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, we might start answering a few questions, David. I can see quite a few more people have joined. So who have we got here? Inga says, my partner is becoming more arrogant, controlling, and moody. Goodness, Inga, it sounds like maybe, yeah, you need to get some support, perhaps some counselling around, you know, just what's going on for him. You haven't mentioned anything that kind of leans towards him having, you know, a severe personality disorder, but I'm assuming that's why you're here. So certainly get support tonight, and talk to people who are going through exactly what you're going through. Yeah. We've got Sue Hamling there. Hi, Sue. Sue says, hindsight, perfect vision. Yeah. And that's right, isn't it, David? Yeah, it's great to look back and think, well, we should have done this, but you don't know what you don't know. And when you're in that fog, You know, the fear, the obligation, and the guilt. You can't see your way out until someone, you know, reaches in and pulls you out.
Yeah, well, we need hindsight. We need to look back and we need to learn and see the truth of what happened. But
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We got Mariposa Hope there. Hi, Mariposa. We got Katie Lyons there. Hi, Katie. Katie says, educating people, especially our children. I pray that if enough people are educated, one day they will run out of their supplies. Wouldn't that be great, David?
yeah, I think that might be a little too optimistic.
Yeah, but yeah, what a
We,
wonderful thing, Katie.
we need to learn
Uh,
how to deal with human beings, and they're human beings. They're small percentage, but we need to learn how to deal with them. You know, the no contact rule is something that, you know, a lot of people say, but I say it because if you've been abused, we need to end it. If someone's manipulating you, you need to get away from it. But no contact rule doesn't work for everyone in your life. If there's a problem, it's just not no contact. We need to learn how to deal with narcissists. They're in the world. You're gonna have to work with them. You're gonna have to live next door to them. Stuff like this.
yeah,
You know. So it's better
yeah,
to better be educated, like you said, whoever that was, and educate our children on how to deal with this. Yeah, that's it. But there's
absolutely,
always going to be victims. There's always going to be supply available. There's always going to be
absolutely,
narcissists.
exactly. Okay, we got Belinda Leonard there. Hi, Belinda. We've got um, Joanne Keaton's there. Hi, Joanne. Joanne says, the way I got through it, I had to tell myself, if I'm good enough for a narcissist, I'm good enough for anyone. What a great train of thought there. What a great way to reframe. I love that. Um,
I would
I'm
love
good
to
enough.
hear more of people's, yeah, what do they tell themselves? Because
Yeah,
we've got to do that. You've got to do that. I didn't beat myself up. I might have slapped my head and said, my stupid brain, why are you thinking stupid things like that? Stinking thinking
yeah,
and laugh and leave it on a laugh about it. Have some humility.
yeah, yeah. I think it's really important to laugh. You know, we spoke about this last week, David. They took so much from us. The narcissists created so much destruction in our lives, and they took so much away from you that, once you're out of it and you can look back and have a bit of a giggle at, and I guess call it narc humor, at the things that they are just textbook for doing. I think that's a positive thing. If you're at that place when you can have a bit of a giggle, it doesn't downplay the severity or the nature of your trauma. It just means that this is a coping mechanism that's helping you to get through, and laughter is healing. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, this experience will be what you want it to be. I promise that. I promise that.
Yeah.
And this isn't something that I think I'm just suggesting or offering. You have to be optimistic. You have to. You have to. It won't work if you're pessimistic. It
Yeah.
won't work. You won't get better. I promise. If you think you
Mhm.
won't get better, you won't. If you think you will, you will.
Absolutely. Joanne says, they clearly saw my good qualities that I didn't. That was and is my strength. Empaths see good in everyone, and narcissists see this as weakness. Absolutely. I couldn't have put it better myself, Joanne. And that's exactly why when that false persona is taken on board, around about the age of 3, 4, or 5, that's exactly when that empathy switches off forever. And the reason that empathy switch is switched off, so to speak, is because it is seen as a weakness. To have empathy and be able to feel someone's pain and care about them, that's a weakness. So that's why the narcissist is devoid of it. And yeah, you're absolutely right. They see that empathy in you and they want to destroy it. Yeah. Okay, we've got Monique Anderson here. Oh, anyway, I've got a comment here. What is a good response to say to those who ask why you have been distanced from an abusive narc family member? Sorry, didn't see that in time, but do you want to answer that, David?
Yeah, I don't know if I understand it correctly. Could you repeat it? Or?
What is a good response to say to those who ask why you have been distanced from a narc family member?
Without like getting into it, telling the truth, you just subtle. We're
Yeah,
having differences.
yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
comfortable right now this time. I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. Might yeah, not quite sure how to really answer that one in depth, or that we should. So I might leave that one.
Ask again.
Yeah. We've got Melissa Hudson there. Hi, Melissa. Melissa says, I spent 18 years living in hell. I was locked away, not allowed to talk to friends. My children were abused verbally and physically. I allowed this to happen to us up until 2 weeks ago when I realized, just open your question up, when I realized how stupid I was and decided enough is enough. Okay. Yeah, I think we're hopefully that, you know, what David and I were talking about earlier will stop you from, you know, using those kinds of, you know, names on yourself, you know, like stupid and, you know, things like that, because they're not productive, and this is not who you were and not what you were. You got out when you were able and you had enough tools and strategies to get out. Staying is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of where you're at in the abuse. So it's just a wonderful thing that you got out when you did. And no one here, and certainly not David and I, is going to call you stupid for staying the length of that time that you did with your abuser. That's for sure. Just keep
Yeah,
telling
I think
yourself
that's a
it was
perfect
your
example.
fault.
Yeah, I mean, there's a perfect example of the guilt and shame that follows narcissistic abuse, emotional
Yeah,
abuse. Uh, she believes she allowed it. It's her fault.
yeah,
It
yeah.
doesn't matter how you reacted. The abuse is not your fault.
That's
And your
exactly
reaction
right.
is human because you're a human being. And you'll find many other humans that reacted the same exact way you did.
Yeah,
All this
absolutely.
is
How many?
fixable. Fix it. You can fix it.
Yeah. How many, you know, probably half, if not more, of the people here tonight, Melissa, wished, you know, that they had left earlier. And that's just the nature of this type of abuse is it keeps you, you know, in the abuser's clutches because of the manipulations. And don't forget that they make you so vulnerable and powerless to leave that, you know, even when you do think, well, yeah, I need to get out now, you often don't have the tools because of you know what they've done to you with things like, you know, isolation and or, you know, things like financial abuse. So there's, you know, just it's amazing that you've got out now. Please don't beat yourself up for not getting out sooner.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, we've got Bill Williams here. Hi, Bill. Just open up your question. Where are you? Okay. Bill says, when you're being controlled mentally without knowing it, but also knowing that you're being treated badly and your emotions are being ignored, it's an extremely difficult trap to remove yourself from. Yeah, that's kind of what we were just saying, weren't we, David?
Absolutely. Yeah. You're invested, you know, you're invested in this relationship. You've seen your future. You've got plans. Uh, yeah. I mean, of course it is. It's not something to give up easily. It's something we want to fight for.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
just didn't realize that the fight was it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Fighting for the
And that
right
we were
wrongs. Yeah.
and that we're also fighting for something. We don't realize that we're also fighting for something that doesn't actually exist, and that's one of the hardest things to come to terms with, that this for the narcissist was not what it was for you.
That's right. That's right. And that makes me want to bring something up. Our memory of experiences is something that we that we form. And what I mean by that is when we remember an past experience, we aren't going all the way back to that experience every time in our head. What we're doing is we're going back to the last time we remembered it, the last time we thought of that experience. So each time you go back and think about your traumatic experience, that's where you're leaving it off as your memory, as your latest memory. That's what happened. So I'm not trying to say lie to yourselves. I'm not trying to say act like it didn't happen. What I'm saying is process things correctly, talk about it, feel better about it, but we've got to start leaving it on a positive note. You can make this experience literally worse in your head. You can make
Yeah.
it better. You can make it easier. You can make it nicer. You can make it more positive. There is positivity that comes from this. I promise you.
Mm. Yeah. Positivity in what you, I guess, develop. That the strength, the resilience that you learn, that you work out that you didn't realize you had, the knowledge, that knowledge that there are people out like that in the world, and if nothing else, that take what you learned from this, because you are going to meet those people. They walk amongst us. They are everywhere. And as you said before, we have to, be able to kind of, spot the red flags. That's going to, really be something that is a positive in your life, because they are everywhere, so that, this doesn't happen again.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, we've got Shaz G. Satine there. Hi, Shaz. Shaz says, it's been 6 months for me since I left the narc in my life. And even though I'm stronger and tougher because of it, I no longer think, what if? Or I could have been better to him. I know now. Okay, I know now. I've lost you. I no longer think what if or what could have been. I know now that it wasn't me, it was all him. Triggers no longer are triggers for me. I'm happier these days. I no longer wanted to let him overtake my life and thoughts. So I chose to make that step to change my mindset and be a survivor instead of being sad and down over this. Good for you, Shaz. That's
Great.
amazing and inspiring. So inspiring, for everyone else. And yeah, I'm so glad you're at that place where you no longer have that cognitive dissonance going on, and you see it for what it was, that hey, you didn't do anything. You were abused. You can see that it was all on him, and that you didn't do anything wrong. And that's, I guess, one of the positives that you can take from this relationship, is that you survived that, and you learned from it, and look how strong you are today, and your boundaries no doubt will be up here. So yeah, that's amazing, Shaz.
That's one positive thing. Yeah, that's great. And the experience was awful for her at one point. Now it's not so bad. Same experience. Same
Yeah.
experience. It's important.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thanks, Shaz. Sue says, they are a master of deceit. I was oblivious to it as a victim. I took it on. They certainly are, Sue. And trauma bonding is real. Yes, it is absolutely very real. We've got Joanna Birch there. Hi, Joanna says, good evening, Nova and David. We've got Darren Butterworth is watching. Hello, Darren. Good to see another guy there. We've got Cindy Robertson here. Cindy says, once you learn about narcissism in your personal life, you begin to see it operating through governments, gaslighting the public. Yeah, that's true, isn't it, David?
Well, yeah, I mean, but something we need to realize is that bodies, companies, governments, religion, all these things, they don't have a conscience. That's important to remember. Really, it is. Insurance companies, they don't have a conscience. Don't expect them to. You
Yeah,
know, and this is what happens. It's not my fault. I just work here. You know,
yeah,
and
yeah,
we've all, I think, done that to some degree. We're maybe gone against who we are for our boss or our job or a company we work for.
Yeah.
It's much easier. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I have clients that have medical issues and have to deal with insurance companies and after emotional abuse, and it's awful. It really is awful. Um, but once you realize that you're not dealing with a person, you're dealing with a company that does not have a conscience. Companies
Yeah.
don't have consciences.
It,
So
it's
it's,
all for the final outcome, isn't it? It's not about the individual. It's like the greater good. You know, that very utilitarian mindset. Yeah.
very narcissistic. Narcissists don't care about who you are.
Yeah.
It's important that people don't realize that they aren't interested in someone's emotional well-being or who you are emotionally. It's what you are, what you have to offer, what you look like, physical over emotional. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. Okay. Belinda says, all I have ever felt is this. Thanks, guys. It's so hard to leave, especially when you're so low. Please, yeah, take heart in the words of, you know, your fellow survivors here tonight, Belinda, because you can do this. You can do it. You have to, you know, have that positive mindset, turn everything that your abuser said around and reframe it into something positive. You know, if you can survive the narcissist, you can survive anything.
Yeah, learn the truth of what happened. Learn what really happened. And it has to come, the end result has to come out that you're not a bad person because that is the truth. You know, so
And
if
and,
it,
and also the fact that that's why they chose them. You were chosen because of your good qualities. You know, they chose you for everything that they are not. So you know that's something that you positive that you can take from this is that you weren't chosen because you were weak and all these things that you end up thinking about yourself when you come out. You were chosen for exactly the opposite that, which is you know your empathy and your kindness and your compassion and probably a lot of other strengths and wonderful traits that you have that the narcissist took and twisted after you know that initial love bombing stage because they wanted you to have an incredibly low self-esteem. So so yeah, as we know, you can take pretty much anything the narcissist has said to you and take the opposite to be true.
that's right. Yeah.
Uh, Cindy says, your friends may leave you for a while. Mine did for about 6 months. It was a blessing because I could give my mind to the battle at hand and study. Now my friend has educated herself about narcissists. That's good.
That's a good
Yeah.
friend. That's nice. Yeah.
How
And I mean, try to see the truth in things, guys. Your friends, people that care about you, don't want to see you hurt yourself, be in unhealthy, toxic relationships. They don't want to see it. It's hard if they care about you, really.
yeah,
And again, if you have problems they can't help you with, it's too stressful for them. Try to see this that a lot of these people they aren't as bad as you think. They aren't lacking empathy. They just don't understand.
yeah. And I guess, you know, remember how hard it is, you know, how hard it is for you to explain what you've been through. You know, you often sound, when you're trying to explain things like gaslighting and smear campaigns, it's, you know, it sounds so crazy when it's coming out of your own mouth. You know, you can imagine people who've never experienced it trying to understand it and get their head around gaslighting, you know, or smear campaigns. You know, you mean they were saying, calling you nasty names? Well, you know, how is that so destructive? People just don't get it. They just don't get the insidious nature of the abuse.
Yeah, go try and talk to trauma victims right after it happens. It's so stressful. It is so they are so stressed out, and you can't if you can't help them, it's an
Yeah.
awful feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you know, no, I mean, in the beginning of what I do, if I felt like I couldn't help somebody, it's so stressful. It's an
Yeah.
awful feeling. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Katie Line says, mine was a covert. So hard to tell people what he was. And did I don't bother. I just tell them I left him for someone else and that wasn't me. Yeah. Probably, you know, if you don't expect them to understand, Katie, then you know that's probably not a bad thing to say to them. It, you know, as Dad and I were just saying, it's incredibly hard to explain what you've been through to someone who doesn't get it.
And you'll be able to explain it better later. Explaining it while you're still traumatized is very, very difficult. Explaining it later when you're not upset and stressed and stuff like this is much easier.
Yeah. When you're thinking a little more clearly. Yeah,
Yeah, the
absolutely.
experience fresh is also more traumatic, as fresh as it is. So
Yeah. Okay, we've got Shelley Marie Preslin there. Hi, Shelley. Shelley says, when educated, you can learn to deal better, react better with a narcissist if you can't be no contact with them. David?
yeah, what did she say? If you
Uh,
what?
when educated, you can learn to deal better and react better with a narcissist if you
Yeah.
can't actually go no contact with them, which is, you know, what you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You think about children. Narcissists have children. It doesn't matter if you get a divorce, they have a right to see their children. What do? We educate your children, educate them, teach them. And it's not talking bad about their father or mother, it's telling them what's going on. You know, mom and dad have a problem. Here it is. Here's what's going to happen. It's going to make you feel like a bad person. It's going to make
Yeah,
you overreact. It's going to, we need education. Absolutely.
yeah.
Preparation. Yeah.
And you know, ourselves as well, and you know, dealing with a narcissistic father or mother of our children is a classic example. If you don't want to get involved in more abuse, then you know you have to learn how to go grey rock and you know, minimal contact, so that you are not giving them any reactions and they are getting absolutely no narcissistic supply from you. Yeah, so
Yeah.
education is key. Yeah, you're right, Shelley. Okay, we've got Monique Louise there. Hi, Monique. Monique says, hi, guys. My question is how to protect your children from their narc father manipulating their thinking while he has visitation, knowing that they're going through similar to what I experienced. Oh, just lost the question. Yet not being with them. A lot of hard work from my side when the children return home, trying to enlighten them without exposing them too much or bad mouthing their father. Thank you. Hope that makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
David, did you want to talk to that
Yeah,
one?
yeah, it makes sense, and that's great. I'm glad you don't want to badmouth dad because that
Yeah,
won't serve the children. The children will push you away. So we educate our children. How do you do this? Well, you know him. You know him better than anybody. So you should be able to steer your children in a direction where they can deal with dad, where they can prepare for these things. You prepare them as much as you can. After bad experiences, you explain to them exactly the truth. The truth is that they're not bad people. Dad treated them badly. Very important to remember that. If your children don't understand what happened, they're going to feel like bad little kids. So we explain to them what happened, what's going on. Okay. Yeah.
yeah. And there's just no point in bad mouthing their dad to them, because that's what he wants. You know, that's they don't forget narcissists use their children, and he will be wanting you to badmouth him. So, you know, that the children can go back and say, well, mum said this, and, you know, the children just get used as pawns. That just don't take the bait and distract. You know, if they start, you know, talking about, you know, dad saying things about you as a mum, just distract them. You don't want to hear it. And certainly, yeah, educate them around, certainly at an age appropriate level, around how to, you know, deal with the particular gaslighting strategies that dad uses. Yeah, it's really hard to say, but it's just don't react to his provocation, which no doubt he'll be using the kids to get at you. Yeah.
Yeah. The more you keep telling your children this, the more they'll be aware of what's going on. They'll be able,
Yeah.
they're children. They're malleable. They'll be able to handle this maybe even better than we have.
Mm. Okay, Inga's there. Hi, Inga. Inga says, thanks, Nova. There's too much to type, but this situation is certainly narcissistic with addiction, increased drinking, smoking, even though he's had lung cancer, etc. He was like this before becoming sick last May, but has increased addictions and control over conversation, telling me what I'm thinking, etc. I don't engage in conversation and other things. I've changed. Okay, so yeah, it sounds like you're still in the relationship, Inga, which is it's it's going to be incredibly hard for you. If the addictions, of course, are going to make things worse, as we know. That they're going to change their personality. Um, and perhaps make them more aggressive. But yeah, I'd really love to hear that you're thinking more of yourself. So, that you're worth more than staying in an abusive relationship like that. And I really want you to start thinking about getting out. And it doesn't matter how long you've been with them or where you are at your life, you deserve better. Please don't think that this is as good as it gets or this is all you deserve.
This sounds like a very sick person that will not take care of themselves. You don't need them in your life. They need to take care of themselves. There's nothing you can do for them. You need to take care of yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. And if they, that's a really good point, because we know that when narcissists get older, especially, and they're running low on supply, they, rely on people that they've that have been there, and been worn down and exposed to the abuse for a long period of time. They rely on these people to look after them, and they rely on the fact that they've abused them so much that these people aren't going to go anywhere. And that's where you need to prove him wrong, Inga, and get out. It's not your responsibility to look after your abuser.
Yeah, these people are completely dependent. Narcissists are dependent on you, what they need. If he won't take care of himself, he's expecting you to take care of him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Say goodbye to your life. That's what you want to do. You can't have both.
You owe them nothing. You owe your abuser nothing. They just want you to think that you do. Cindy says, another good thing to tell yourself is, I don't need your validation. I don't need your attention either. Yeah, clearly you don't. I'm wondering if you're referring about the abuser, if you're talking to the abuser, Cindy, but certainly if you are, there are really good things to say to yourself. Absolutely.
Yeah, if we had a long relationship with somebody and it ended horribly, we didn't get closure. Yes, we need closure, but we need to start having some wisdom and start knowing the difference between, am I going to get it from them or am I not? Do I keep trying? We can find closure on our own. We need to, so start realizing why it ended, why it's over, things like this, and not just ruminating over and over. Get somewhere, get to a conclusion.
Yeah, we have to give closure. You're not going to get it from the narcissist. So you have to forgive yourself, and you have to give yourself closure, because, yeah, as we've been reiterating the whole live thing, it wasn't your fault, and you need to give yourself that sense of peace that it's over, and it wasn't your fault, and you deserve better, and that you are going to make yourself happy. Yeah.
That's right. If nobody else deserves it, you don't either.
Exactly. Okay, we've got Donna Rose there. Hi, Donna. We've got Love Kaisma there. Hi, Love Kaisma. We've got Kirsten Cunningham. Hi, Kirsten. Kirsten says, Google Queensland Police, Gold Coast, 19th of October 2017. GBH with intent, Tarlow Street, stabbing in Eagleby. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm just going to leave that up there, but obviously that's something that you would like people to have a look at, Kirsten. I hope you're okay though. Sue says they are joy stealers. So being joy pissed them off. Yeah, absolutely. They don't want you to be happy. If you're happy, then there's a contrast between you and them, because they're always miserable. If they're happy, it's not real. So if you're happy, they can really see just how miserable they really are. So they will ruin any happiness that you ever have. Okay, we've got Alana Howe here, David. Alana says, hi guys, I was in a 10-year relationship with a narcissistic person, and it's taken me 5 years of setting up non-boundaries. It's only now it's slowly starting to settle, but I still live on the edge. Wow, 10 years. I'm glad that you've finally got some boundaries. And even though, Alana, it's taken you 5 years to, you know, get those boundaries in place, that's still you moving forward. Yeah, seek support, talk about it. If you're still living on the edge, that says to me that you've still got some work to do around, you know, I get the PTSD and triggers and things like that. So yeah, please make sure that you get lots of support and keep talking about it and working on that self-love and that self-care, because it was not your fault. You did not deserve the abuse, but the healing is going to be totally your responsibility. Yeah.
Yeah, you're human reaction, hyper-vigilance. That's what people go through after trauma.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, just
Absolutely.
realize it. You got to see it. Give yourself a break. Human being.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. You know, when you've been looking, you know, when you've been in that trauma zone and you're walking on eggshells all the time and you're expecting an attack, then of course when you come out of it, you know, you're going to have hyper-vigilance and you're going to be looking over the back of your shoulder and possibly thinking that people who are really well-meaning in potentially healthy relationships are actually going to be attacking you because that's been your experience. And this is where you've got to do the work and really work out what you've been through, because you don't want to, you know, push those healthy people away by assuming that they're attacking you too.
Yeah, she said it perfectly. Boundaries,
Yeah.
boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. Boundaries isn't a wall we build around ourselves. Boundaries is letting somebody know how to treat you, period.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Boundaries, very important.
Okay, we've got Litsa Spiro there. Hi, Litsa. Says, hi, David and Nova. You are both great. David, I have been watching lots of your YouTube videos. You are so spot on in everything you say. It's definitely opening my eyes. He's got
Oh,
some
thank
fantastic
you very much.
videos.
Thank you. Good. I'm glad it's helping. Thank you for telling me.
Thanks, Litsa. Okay, we've got Michelle Greenwood here. Michelle says, I have friends who have been in 5-year relationships with a narcissist. How long is PTSD likely to last from this? David?
Well, PTSD has been a term used for quite a while, and for quite a while, it's been determined that it's untreatable, unhealable, you have it for life. But now we're learning that it is treatable. How long? You have to understand that this is up to you. This is your experience, and you can make it what you want. And I keep saying that, and that it's true. Okay, so somebody else, you know, we all have different experiences. We all react differently. Curing this post-trauma, the stress afterwards, is up to you, totally. So we can surround our environment ourselves or put ourselves in an environment that says we aren't going to get better, or we can put ourselves in an environment that says we will. And this experience we had can be horrible, which it is. I understand. It can be worse. Like I was saying earlier about our memory, we can start making it worse in here. We can start making it better. It's what we do, what you decide to do. This isn't something, I mean, I hope you guys realize, as big as this experience as it is, means we need bigger results. We need bigger action to take. There's things we need to do big time. It's important how we handle this. It's important what we do now. So be healthy, 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 healthy. All of it is just healthy. Physically, emotionally, learning, being responsible, stuff like this. Okay? It's up to you. PTSD, it's going to stay with you for a while. You're going to have, we're talking about hypervigilance. That's going to make you sleep less. Things like this, stress, anxiety, but we have to understand it. We've got to learn. This isn't something that a doctor diagnoses you with and says, just take this pill and you're okay. And you don't need to learn about what leukemia is or what, you know, We need to know. You need to learn what PTSD or CPTSD, you need to learn exactly what it is so you understand it. The more you understand it, the better you have a grip on it, a handle on it, so you know what's going on and you know where to take it. Okay? This is up to you. This is up to you. I know I've had CPTSD and I also know I don't have it anymore. I know that. And it took a few years. Took a few years instead of, a lifetime. And somebody that had my same experience might not be better years later. They may not. It's up to the individual.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. And that's what this video is about.
Great advice, David. We've got
You.
Lisa Marie Rullo there. Hi, Lisa. Lisa says, hi, I was bedridden for days. It's a horrible feeling I'll never forget. And people say, I have to try to think of myself, but it's so hard. It had hurt me mentally and to trust. Yeah, the pain is indescribable, Lisa. Only pain that someone who has been, I guess, discarded or found out, that they've been in a relationship with one of these people, with a narcissist, that burning that you get in the pit of your stomach, that, that it just, you just can't explain it. It's physically painful, that just from, thinking about what they did to you, and how, you were so horrifically discarded and used. And yeah, I totally get that. And the fact that you were bedridden for days, I think so many people here tonight will be able to relate to that. But I just want to, and that's what David and I are trying to explain with this video. There is life after narcissistic abuse. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, but you have to switch that light on. And I promise you, you will get there. But you have to believe that, and you have to think of the positives that came out of this. And I know it's incredibly hard where you're at the moment, but that's why you need support. You need people around you who believe you and are going to say, yeah, we get it, Lisa, we get it, but you can do this. Yeah.
That's right. You've had a horrible, horrible negative experience, and you can make this better. You can make it better, I promise. You can make it a much, much, much better experience if you want to. So try to learn about shame, the difference between shame and guilt. People treat you bad, you're going to feel like a bad person. If the number one way to know if you're healing or you're feeling better, this emotional pain that you have is simply not understanding it fully. If you saw somebody else go through this, you would understand it better. You would be able to tell them it's not your fault. You're not a bad person. The fact that you experienced it, we feel like that. You've got to start seeing that. You've got to start seeing that. You've got to start realizing that you're a human being, and however any other human being reacted, you would have compassion for that. You got to have it for yourself. It's the only way to break through this. I promise.
Absolutely. So please have compassion for yourself, Lisa, and switch on that light, because you're the one who's going to pull yourself through this. No one else is going to do it for you, and you can do it because you survived 100% of the abuse, so you can survive the healing journey.
Yeah,
you can
right.
do that.
No, that's perfectly well said. Yeah. Anything you do about this for yourself to make yourself feel better and stuff like this, you're turning that into a positive experience because you're finding strength in yourself big time. You're finding confidence that something bad happened to you and you did a good thing about it. Yeah, really.
Yeah. Okay. We've got Lisa Sandoval there. Hi, Lisa. Another Lisa. Okay, I'll just open your question up. Okay, Lisa says, I was discarded, didn't even know what was going on until he left, and a friend told me. This happens all the time, Lisa. You don't know while you're going through this. And yeah, it'll often be that someone tells you when you're out of it what happened to you. A friend told me, I too beat myself up, but am trying not to. I never in all of my marriage, 19 years, thought he was a narcissist, wasn't even on my radar. I just knew something was off with him. But because I didn't know what it was, I didn't leave. I now see him leaving was the best gift that he ever gave me. Absolutely, Lisa. With that said, I still have lots of anger and confusion. Processing this whole ordeal is overwhelming. David, did you want to talk to
Take
Lisa?
your time. Take your time. You don't have to do anything. Took you a long time to get here. It's going to take some time to get out, and you give yourself however much time it takes. But good job. Yeah. I hope you see that this pain you had in the beginning, you said you didn't understand. Now that you see it, now that you understand, doesn't it feel better? So everyone out there, if you're feeling emotional pain and hurt, realize that it's just you're not understanding, which is normal reaction. It's hard to understand. Take some time. As you understand, it feels better. That's you. That's you saying, I'm not a bad person. And it really comes down to that. Trust me. Healing from emotional abuse and pain is learning. It's understanding that you're not a bad person. That's what we really care about.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to get angry. It's okay to be angry. You're allowed to be angry and you deserve to be angry. Damn straight you do. Look what they did to you. But just it's what you do with that anger. Don't point that anger at them because they don't care. You know, in fact, they love the fact that you're still angry at them. It means they're still inside your head and they can use that against you. Use that anger to put into your new life, to go and do that new job or that university course or whatever it is that you want to do. Use that anger to lift you up, but don't direct it back at them. Use the energy to move you forward. But yeah, don't be afraid of being angry. Angry is part of the grief cycle, and you need to allow yourselves to grieve. This was still a relationship. It was a toxic relationship, but it took up a big part of your life, and you need to allow yourself to grieve for that void that's now in your life. Yeah.
Right. And you're grieving loss, that void. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Angry. You should be angry. I would be. I think anybody should be.
Absolutely. Okay, we've got Joanna Birch there. Hi, Joanna. Joanna says, although I've been in recovery for the last 2 years, I think it was yesterday that I realized I was in love with a non-being. He was never in the relationship to grow, only to poison me. I didn't get closure from him, but he did admit that he would never change, which was good enough for me. So, yeah, maybe that's the closure that you need. That's as good as you're going to get from him, Joanna. But it sounds like you've given that to yourself, which is fantastic.
Yeah. Keep learning, keep understanding the truth. The truth doesn't hurt in this aspect. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it keeps hurting, you don't understand. Keep understanding.
Sharon Spans there. Hi, Sharon. Sharon said, just had the police at my house. He knocked my arm out of the way of shutting door. I thought he was going to hit me, so I hit him. Oh my goodness, Sharon. Yeah, this is, I guess, a classic example of why we have to go no contact. And if this is happening when he comes to your door, then you shouldn't be, letting him come to your door. I don't know. Can you get a restraining order? Talk to the police about that. But certainly, it doesn't sound good. And you should, I don't know, get some cameras in place, but yeah, don't be having him come on your property if those things are happening. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're having a relationship with this person still, realize it's toxic and you can't control it. Bad things will happen. This will happen again.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, and don't forget, Sharon, I'm not sure what the result of that was, but I know they provoke you into reacting. We know that's called reactive abuse, but the police don't know that. Well, they don't see that. They only see, probably a cool and calm narcissist when they get there, and an erratic, frustrated victim, true victim, who's been provoked and provoked and provoked. But perhaps they got the information that you were the one that did the hitting. So, that sort of stuff is a really good reason to go complete no contact and possibly get a restraining order as well. Okay, we've got Carol and Ashley's there. Hi, Carol. Uh, duh, duh, duh. We've got Michelle Renee Snyder's there. Hey, Michelle. Michelle says, I was in a 12-year egg-walking shells relationship with a narcissist and a psychopath who controlled me 24/7. He wanted me to work 3 jobs. I had no friends, controlled my teenage daughters, and he was a stepdad. My daughters were so scared, and I protected my girls and called their dad to pick them up so they didn't have to witness the emotional abuse against their mum. Oh my goodness. David?
Sounds like you got some things to sort out and process and learn. Yeah. I'm sorry for your experience. I'm glad your daughters are away from him.
Yeah.
I
Great
hope
that
he's
you're
totally, completely removed out of all of your lives.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
absolutely. We've got Monique Louise there. Monique says, do they even realize what they're doing? Well, yeah, we always say this, Monique. They absolutely know what they're doing. Everything they do is intentional. They're like a chess player, you know, making their moves. If I make this move, I know that this will be happen, you know, down the line. Everything is intentional. They manipulate situations to get what they want, and that is narcissistic supply. So yes, they know exactly what they're doing. If it hurts you, they justify it. You deserved it somehow, and they don't care if it hurts you because it's all about getting their needs met, which is their ego stroked. So yes, they know exactly what they're doing. Okay, we've got Jamimi Pankania there. Hi, Jamimi. Okay, Love Charisma says, why is it harder mentally and emotionally after you leave than when you stayed? Mental realization is the hardest challenge, I think, and the flashbacks. David.
Why is it harder after you leave?
Than when you
Well, there could
stay.
be many things going on. Most traumatic relationships, there's an addictive element to it. You need to learn that so you understand why it was hard to leave. If you're addicted to this kind of up and down trauma, then that becomes priority like any other addiction in your life. And
Yeah.
we succumb to it. We fall, victim to it, vulnerable. So it's harder because you may have become somewhat dependent on this person in this relationship. You may have become addicted. Um, your self-worth has been diminished. You've had to lie to yourself to stay with this. If something is really horrible and you're going to live with this for a certain time, we have to lie. We have to lie to ourselves. And after that relationship is over, that lie starts to show the reality of the truth. You start to see it. It can be shocking.
Yeah.
It can be
And if
depressing. It can be, you'll think you're a horrible, stupid person. It's depressing. Relationships ending are depressing. Situational depression is very common after relationships are over that we care about, that we invested in, somebody we loved.
yeah,
And we don't like them ending.
yeah.
So there's a number of things that happen after the relationship is over, an abusive, traumatic relationship. We invest in their opinions too much. We invest in their feelings too much. We worry about what they think about us for 6 months, 6 years.
don't, I guess don't forget the fact that while we're going through all this pain, where, you know, if it's a narcissist we're dealing with, we're watching them move on with their life like nothing's happened. So there's that, you know, that extra knife in the back, that says to us, that they didn't care about us at all. They did not care about us at all, because if they cared about us, they could not just get on with their life like that.
That's right. Um, Simple neglect is psychologically damaging, and it can be for the rest of your life. I think neglect, childhood neglect, I think could be worse than any other abuse. Uh, and I've seen the effects of it later in life. It's so damaging psychologically. Yeah. So
Yeah.
neglect from your spouse, neglect from girlfriend, boyfriend, people you care about, they neglect you. It's an awful, awful feeling, but it's damaging. It lasts a long time. It can.
Yeah. Okay. We've got San Giorgio there. Hi, San. Great to have you back. Uh, okay. Oh, San, notice my chair? San always says something about my different coloured chairs every week. So, yeah, got the blue one here tonight, San. San says, thanks, guys. In my weak moments, I tune into David. He realigns me. You truly are both so helpful, and I cannot thank you both enough for all your knowledge that I'm listening to. I'd hate to think where I would be without your help. Oh, goodness. You are just gorgeous, San. And yeah, I know.
Thank you. Thank you. Just realize though, pat yourself on the back if you've, had some success in this. You did it. You did
Yeah,
it. Good job.
yeah,
But thank you.
absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much for those kind words, Sam, and thank you for tuning in. And I'm so happy that you're you're obviously healing from listening to information like David's. It's wonderful. Okay, Lisa says also good morning from Iowa, 4:40 a.m. here. Oh my goodness, 4:40. It's 8:05 at night here, Lisa, on Tuesday evening. So it's amazing that you're up at that hour. And yeah, thank you so much. Okay. Carolyn Ashley says, I have a similar problem with what you were just talking about with with fathers brainwashing the kids. Only this is the grandfather, my ex. Yeah, so I guess same strategies. Carol, don't denigrate the grandfather, but yeah, explain at an age appropriate level. Explain to the children, I guess what to expect and the fact that some things are not appropriate. They're certainly not appropriate in your house, and work on role modeling what is appropriate, loving, nurturing, caring behavior, and rather than focusing on the things that he does. Role model what the kids do want to see, and hopefully that's what they will see as they get older. Yeah.
And make sure you don't discuss with the children what he's done to you. Very important. Don't talk about that. And tell them in a, be aware that if you just experienced abuse, trauma from your spouse that you're talking about, realize that it's coming out of your voice as traumatic as, don't let your kids pick up on that and get scared. You can tell them, oh God, watch out for dad. Dad might do this, that. You might scare them. Try and
Yeah.
end it lighthearted. Dad doesn't really get it, or mom. I shouldn't say that, but dad or mom, he's got some problems. They're a little immature, aren't they? And you can teach the children to be more mature than mom or dad. Well, look at that. You're being more mature than an adult.
Yeah.
Good for
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess you've just got to be mindful that the kids they get all that abuse from the narcissist, and I guess you need to role model what is what they need to see, to be that loving, caring parent, because they're going to be able to recognize this as they get older, that you are the appropriate parent who really does care about them, and that the other parent or grandparent is trying to manipulate them.
And realize that children can handle degrees of trauma. I use a burning house as an example a lot, that if a child has their needs met, so they feel secure and safe and nurtured and loved from their parents, they can watch their own house burn down, as traumatic as it is. They have their needs met and they feel safe and secure throughout the process, and afterwards is so important. The child will be okay. Your child is going to experience trauma in their life to some degree. If it's from the father or mother, you being there countering that is okay. Make it better, okay? But you don't want to overdo it, but just being there, they'll be fine. They'll be okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay, we've got
It's
Bella
better than
Moore
if
there.
you were
Hi,
together,
Belle.
right? It's better than if you were together. At least you're separate,
Yeah,
you know? Yeah.
absolutely. Bella Moore says, are narcs capable of love? I think no, even for their children. What are your thoughts? David, did you want to answer that one?
Well, I won't say anyone's capable. I won't do that, but I think it's not important to them. So, you know, you ask people, you can ask a sociopath sometimes, can you love? Did you love? And they might say, yeah. So if they don't know what it is, they might believe that they do. But something that's just more important is to realize that, you know, or see that there's different things important to different people. So that love, that emotional connection, that may not be important to them. So can they love? They may not care. They may not want to. They may never have before or been loved or loved, so they don't know what they're missing. They don't know what to do. It's not important to them, even though emotional connection is mandatory for a successful relationship. It doesn't mean that they do it, or even if they have the capability, doesn't mean that it's important to them. If it's not, they won't do it. So can they love? I can't say that somebody can't. I wouldn't do that. I would say I don't think they're going to. I don't think that it's important to them, whether they can or not.
Yeah.
And you know, you can get more into it, but what is love? Love is, you know, a lot more than just a feeling, an emotion. It's a lot more than just words, isn't it? It's a real commitment, and it requires action, doesn't it? I'm going to
Yeah.
show you I love you.
Yeah.
You know, and
Right.
they aren't going to do that. They aren't going to do that because it requires vulnerability. They won't be vulnerable.
Exactly. We've got Ian Palmer there. Hi, Ian. Says, good evening, Nova and David. How are you both? We're very well. Thanks, Ian.
Good.
Um,
Thank you.
who else have we got that I haven't said hello to? We've got Julie Ryan there. Hi, Julie. We've got Jess Maynard there. Hi, Jess. Okay, we'll just answer a couple more, guys, before we start to wrap it up for the evening. We've got Jan Miguel there. Hi, Jan. Jan says, if the current girlfriend of the narc tried to talk to me, should I reply? I don't know if she wants to be helped or she is just manipulated by the narc. If the current girlfriend is wanting to talk to you, yeah, it would be lovely to think that we could go back, you know, and help someone to not go through, you know, what you're going through. But what you've got to remember, though, is that they are still the partner of your narcissist, okay? Which means they are still susceptible to to the abuse, you know, to the gaslighting and the projection. What do you say to that, David? Because I guess it would depend on the level of where they are with their Janice with her healing. You know, can she handle talking to the previous victim? But the thing is, the previous victim's still in that relationship. So when, you know, things get better with the narcissist, Jan is going to be the number one enemy because she spoke to her. So it sounds like a situation of triangulation here, Jan, where the narcissist is setting you two up. But yeah, I'm just interested to hear David's thoughts on that.
Oh, well, it's interesting that you're asking what you should do, and I'm not going to tell you because you need to look inside, feel yourself. How does it feel? That'll tell you what you should do, and you need to listen to that and be responsible to your emotions. I know it doesn't feel good, does it? So
Yeah.
get away from it. Get away from
Yeah.
it. And let me tell you, what I know is you're not going to help her. For one, you've experienced this yourself, right? So what you know is experiencing it, going through it. I don't know how you could help her. The other thing is realize that this is an experience we need. Obviously, if we're going through it, we need it. There's something we didn't learn. There's something we need to learn. There's something, other people that don't experience this must not need to.
Yeah.
So if you're going to cut someone's experience short or block them from it, she won't learn. She's not going to learn from you telling her. Trust me, there's something she needs to learn from this experience, and you won't stop her. You won't stop
Yeah.
her. You will not stop her. I promise you. There's nothing you can do to stop her. She's going to do this.
Yeah.
Because no one would have stopped you. Imagine his ex comes towards you, to you at the beginning of this relationship. You wouldn't have listened to them, I promise.
No. And we always say, yeah, you never, you know, I hear this all the time. Should I contact, you know, their current partner and warn them? You know, so definitely not, for all those reasons that David just said, because they won't listen. You know, they're being love bombed and they're on cloud 9 and they just think everything's amazing. She's come to you this time. Slightly different, but for all the reasons that David just said, which is she's still there, she hasn't learnt the lesson yet. And also, what would be your motivation in helping her? Is it still that you want to get a little bit of revenge on the narcissist? Are you still wanting some kind of contact with the narcissist? You got to dig really deep to see what your actual, and, you know, these are not bad things. These are really normal things, Jen, but what's your motivation for helping her? And as Dave said, you can't help her. She will need to do this herself. But, yeah, I'm wondering what your intentions are.
That's right. And you only have one responsibility, and that's to you. Nobody else. Nobody else. You don't owe this person nothing. You owe yourself to be emotionally healthy and responsible. Take care of your mental health. Leave it alone. Get away from it. You know, just like a drug addict quits using drugs and they get rid of every drug addict friend. They don't want to be associated with that. They're going to stop going to bars or whatever it is. They're going to change their whole life. Get away from it. These people are unhealthy and you don't owe her anything. Okay?
Yeah.
You owe yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah. Great advice there, David. Okay. Just a couple more. We've got someone I haven't. Bill Williams says it's only natural to be angry, although how you manage the anger that counts. Yeah, so true, Bill. It's normal to be angry, and you deserve anger after what you've been through. But it's what you do with it. Yeah, use it to do something positive for yourself, because anger it's energy. So direct that anger into something that's going to benefit you. Yeah.
However, whatever your reaction is a natural human being reaction, because you're a human being.
Yeah.
Everything, and I don't care what you did after abuse, how you reacted to it. I don't care if someone shocks you and what you do when you get shocked, you know?
Yeah. Okay, we've got Holly Dane there. Hi, Holly. Holly says, yes, David, so true. Look after yourself first and foremost. Yeah, great words of advice there.
Thank you. Yeah, responsibility. Yeah.
Okay, we've got Jackie Foles on here. Hi, Jackie. Jackie says, hi. So I've had 4 days of being around my husband, who was moody and being distant. It was Mother's Day on Sunday and wasn't greeted by him, but he went out of his way to contact my mum twice. He confronted me today and asked what my problem is. Why am I being distant? I said, well, I wasn't even greeted for Mother's Day and you have been ignoring me. Long story short, it's my fault for not giving him enough attention. Yeah, of course, Jackie, it's your day, it's Mother's Day, and what do we know? Narcissists always ruin your special days because the attention is not on them. So, yeah, they will do anything to create drama, to bring all the focus back onto them, and what a better day to do it than on your special day, which is Mother's Day. So, yeah, I'm so sorry you had to go through that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Happy Mother's Day. But a piece of advice, write down what's important to you in life, who you are, things that you hold importance, and then write down what's important to him, the things that you believe are important to him. If there's not a match, you shouldn't be together. 2 different people.
Yeah.
Look up emotional connection. You guys don't have one. Relationship won't work without it. He needs to understand you. He needs to know you. He needs to value you.
Have
If
empathy.
he's not, it's not going to work.
Yeah. Okay, we might finish off with oh goodness. Sorry guys, I'm just losing a question here. Okay, we might finish off with Cherry Jolly Ranchers is here. Hi Cherry, thanks for joining us. Cherry says, good morning from Columbus, Ohio, 6 a.m. Oh my goodness. In a divorce with an ex-narc husband, has DB, HX, but beat the charges. He has much more money than me and dragging me through the mud. He is he is gaslighting and using flying monkeys and seems like he is winning. It's so hard to go through this. I have temporary custody of my stepdaughter who already has PTSD, ADHD, and anxiety. He wants her back. I know he will continue to deny her help, healing, and strong support. I can't understand. I have a child with him he doesn't even want, and another daughter, his stepdaughter, that he ignores. He denies moving on or cheating, but he was in such a rush to divorce. He compared me on a regular basis to another woman. I am so brokenhearted. How can I ever trust or love anyone again? David?
I am so sorry. I'm telling you, besides all the support and help that you need, um, keep learning the truth. This guy is, it sounds like massively impulsive. Does it, you know, there's so much to this. I could go on and on and on. Try to keep learning. I'm really sorry that these things, you know, you got so deep. We married, we have children, commitment, and, you know, so it's going to take a little while to get out of, but I promise you, you will. I promise. Keep learning. Just keep learning the truth until it doesn't hurt anymore, because it doesn't have to. I promise you that. This doesn't have to keep hurting. You'll get out of this. Your children are going to be okay. Get them help, and be healthy so they have a healthy mom.
Yeah, and stop wanting him to be something that he's never going to be. He is who he is. He's not going to ever be, you know, a father or a loving father or a loving partner. So stop expecting him to do that. He is what he is. He's abusive, and he's not going to change.
Yeah, really see this for what it is. Really see this, that this man, uh, all ego, you know, the smearing you afterwards. Try to realize how devastating this divorce is to him. It really is. Narcissists cannot handle divorce, and they will turn ugly. And all of a sudden, now they care about the children. Now they want the children. Now they want to do this and that, and they will smear you to no end because that's how they feel about themselves. The
Yeah,
more you understand this, the better it will feel. I promise. And
yeah,
I'm sorry. Yeah.
yeah. Very sorry. Okay, we might leave it there. David, thank you so much for
Mm.
joining us once again. As you know, love having you here. Everyone, if you're wanting some great advice on relationships, emotional abuse, psychological abuse, post-traumatic stress, all those types of things that tie in with that, please follow David on Demars Coaching YouTube. David releases videos every week, which are just fantastic. And as you heard from people here tonight who've been following him for ages, they've just gotten so much out of it, and they've really helped them. So please, yeah, subscribe to David, and David is here every second Tuesday night, and we love having you here to co-host the show. So thank you once again for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Nova. And please support Nova. Support both of us. If you guys like this information, you think it's a good thing, what we're doing, subscribe. Please subscribe to Nova's. I'll put my followers down description box. I'll put Nova's Facebook, Nova's YouTube channel. Subscribe, follow, please. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for having me again. I always love being here. Yeah, for sure.
Thanks,
Thank you,
David.
Australia.
Thanks. See you in 2 weeks.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks, David. Okay, everyone, it's been a fantastic night. David and I really guess helping to spread awareness about narcissistic abuse, as we try and do every Tuesday night on this forum. Please like and share. The more you share, the more information we get out there to spread awareness and to help so that there is more support out there for you guys. If you're on a private group or even a public page, if you have that capacity, if you're in a support group or something like that, which I hope you all are, if you can share this live stream, that would be fantastic, so that people know that there is support out there. And I guess it's another avenue for people to garner that support and to get more information to work through the trauma they've experienced. Before I go, I'd just like to let you know, for those of you who don't know, that I am a professional counsellor. I'm in Brisbane, which is in Queensland, Australia, but I counsel people in their narcissistic abuse recovery via Skype all over the world, and certainly all over Australia, the United States, UK, New Zealand, anywhere. If you've got the internet, then I can Skype you and I can help you, which I dearly love to be able to do in your narcissistic abuse recovery. So please just inbox me here at Brighter Outlook, and I would love to be able to support you. On that note, have a wonderful week, everyone. These live streams are on every single Tuesday night, so please tell your friends to join in if they're having trouble or if they suspect they're in a relationship with a narcissist. And I'd love to see you here next Tuesday night. Have a wonderful week, and I shall see you then. And remember your worth, as always, and then add tax. Bye, everyone.